Williams. Veers left. Pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11, 1:09. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Topic Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunsinger at Thunder Chat. We are part of the Believe Network. I apologize if my tone is a little bit somber tonight. Going through it a little bit. I got my boy Tierney over here. Tierney, I don't even got to ask you how you're doing, but it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Yeah, that was a pretty depressing way to end our Monday evening. Yeah, there's a lot of different things we could talk about. I'm sure we're gonna hit the big stuff. I will hit my big things at least before I hop off here. But yeah, it was with credit to the Nuggets and shout out Aaron Gordon. Like he made a big shot at the end. But yeah, I think there were a lot of mistakes on the Thunder part. And I think, to be honest, that felt like that was the Nuggets stealing a game rather than, necessarily winning it from us.
Do you see somebody trying? Are we being hacked right now?
I think I know what happened. I'll get rid of them.
Okay.
I accidentally tweeted the restream link on the Twitter. I deleted it, but I guess somebody found it really quick. So you're not getting in.
Yeah. Hey, good try though. Good try,
whoever that was. I thought that was Jerry because I saw the J, but no.
Yeah.
Some random guy.
Yeah. I was like, all right, guys. All right.
Dude, it's okay. It's gonna
be annoying. It's all right.
Whatever. It's whatever. Well, we persevere.
You can chill backstage now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's upsetting, just for the simple fact that we had the game won. Like in many instances, the game was won. We went up 3. I can't remember what it was at the first point that put us up 3, but we went up 3. We fouled Jokic, up 3, I think like 13 seconds left. And Jokic goes to the line. He makes both free throws. Timeout, let's go inside out, whatever. That's routine. There's like 13 seconds left, like I said. Caruso inbounds it to Shea, just uncontested dunk. It was beautifully executed. It was going to be the exclamation point on a hard-fought victory to start the series. Up 3 going, with 10 seconds left. Jokic is off the floor because they're trying to play defense on the inbound. They're trying to deny Shea the ball on the inbound. And as soon as we inbound the basketball, or as soon as they inbound the basketball, Jamal Murray, we foul. And not only are we fouling very quick, by the way, which Alex, our co-host, he made the point on his Twitter. Why not let your league's best, like one of like a historically great defense, play defense in the final 10 seconds of the game instead of fouling up 3, like playing scared? But and I get the whole strategy of like fouling up 3 or whatever, but it's just extremely frustrating. So you foul Jamal Murray very quickly, like we said, with Jokic still on the bench, allowing them to bring Jokic back into the game. Murray makes both free throws. Jokic is guarding Caruso as the inbounder, using his length, jumping around like a madman, honestly playing some crazy defense. They did a good enough job of covering up Shea, and credit to Caruso for getting the ball to Chet on the inbound. And Chet got fouled immediately, and he went to the line. And, we've seen many times in Chet's young career, him going to the line with the game on the line, knocking him down easy. Like, the Warriors game last year, he had another game this year in the same scenario, and like we had all the confidence in the world, but man, it just was not Chet's night in terms of shooting the ball. Felt like laser beams at the rim all night once again.
Yeah,
and it was the case again at the free throw line. You make 2, you go up 3 with like 10 seconds left. he missed the first one. It's like, okay, well, at least make the second one, make them have to make it 3. They ended up making 3 anyways, but he missed the free throw, and then, scramble drill. Somehow Aaron Gordon gets a wide open look. And wouldn't you know it, the guy we was talking about being one of the biggest X factors for the Nuggets, and low-key being their second or third, best player in this playoff series, or not in the playoffs, in this postseason, ends up making the game-winning shot to, not send the Thunder home, but, to steal one on the road in a raucous OKC environment. It's just a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of mistakes and missed opportunities throughout this game, but the coaching decision and the choices made those last 30 seconds are what everyone's going to remember. And I think that's very fair. I would probably say, I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but to my recollection, this was probably in terms of in-game coaching, Daigneault's worst performance that I have seen in terms of some of the decisions that he made. In the moment, I mean, I almost texted you guys in our group chat because I was like, what is the rationale behind fouling so quickly when you could just at least bleed a couple of seconds? They're not going to try to shoot a 3 from half court. You've got a little bit of some, time that you can burn off there. I realize now that there really wasn't a reason. It seems like everybody's kind of in unison, like, yeah, you could have waited. And especially to what you were saying in the case where Jokic was off the floor and it's in Gordon's hands at the other end, like basically getting the rebound off of, or getting the inbounds pass on the other side of the floor, you can bleed a solid like 4 or 5 seconds instead of Caruso just fouling immediately. So to me, the first immediate foul was like, okay, maybe they just made like a mistake, but then the fact that they did it twice was like, okay, this is for some reason part of their game plan. And I think someone in the chat, and I think you also said it, Dylan, too, Nathan in the chat was saying it, but they're playing not to lose, and that's what that felt like for sure, because it didn't make a lot of sense. I also related to that, those 2 fouls. The timeout situation was pretty wild to me as well, because there was a point in that period where the Nuggets, we had two timeouts to their no timeouts. And the only time we used them was after we bled 2 seconds off of the clock in both cases where we gave the Nuggets free throws. And then we just immediately called a timeout to move the ball up. And that ended up hurting us at the very end, because you had 2 timeouts with less than a minute. You now have 0 because you've burned both of them doing this weird quick foul strategy. And now the last 2.5 seconds, where if you did have a timeout, you could have drawn up a better play, but instead it's just J-Dub hurling a miracle. And of course that doesn't go in. So there were just a lot of little things like that in that last 30 seconds that I don't know. I'd love to hear his post-game interview. I'm sure he's probably doing it right around now, and hear what he has to say, or Mark does.
Yeah, he said,
I'm very curious about his perspective, and whether he's going to say that this is more of an error on his part, or if he has a justification for it. Because if those quotes are coming out, we might try to pull some of them up.
Yeah, Mark said on fouling up 3 with 10 seconds left, I thought we executed the fouls pretty well. It didn't go our way tonight, but it's worked out well for us in the past. I didn't think that's why we lost the game. And it's not even like I've said on this podcast, I hate the fouling up 3 strategy. I think that I just don't like it. I don't agree with the reasoning. I understand why teams do it, but I don't agree with it. It's not the fouling up 3 that lost us the game. It was really just the fouling Murray with 10 seconds left.
The timing of it.
Immediately with Jokic on the bench. Like, it's dumb. And, you was talking about like the rationale of fouling so quickly. It's kind of like, it's, if you flip it and you're trying to get back into a game and you're fouling to stop the clock, like, when the ball's inbounded, you're not fouling immediately. You're trying to get a steal. You're trying to get a trap. You're trying to force a turnover. And if you can't get that, then you foul, then you stop the clock. But if like first you try to get the stop, you try to get the ball. And that should have been the play, in my opinion, at that point down the stretch. But,
if you're going to foul quickly, if that's the case.
Well, if you're going to foul, yeah. Because, like, again, I understand the fouling, but
I can even see a situation where you don't try to get a steal immediately because you're up at this point. You're not trying to get a turnover. There's a rationale where you can wait until they cross half court and then foul, because if you time it, they're not going to be able to get a shot up. Like, it would still be the same 2 free throws. And if you put those 2 quick fouls together, you probably burn like 8 seconds in total. And if you look at how much time Aaron Gordon had left with the 3, it was like 2.5 seconds. That's like 5 or 6 seconds less time the Nuggets have to go down the court and for him to hit that 3. In a different scenario, maybe that's not enough time to get it off. And maybe that, he misses it, or Westbrook doesn't pass it to him and tries to go take it himself because he doesn't have enough time. There's that time, those few seconds that you burn off if you choose to foul up 3, taking those few seconds away, you have to do if you're up. And to me, there's no rationale that makes sense when you're up to foul up 3 with essentially no time taken off the clock. That there's no, at least I have currently not seen a valid justification for it. And his post-game interview is not really doing that much more justice. I think this falls 100%, at least at the end, on him. There was a couple of, we talked about Chet already. I'm sure he's punching the locker right now. He's probably not having a great time.
Yeah, it was a rough time for Chet, not just like shooting laser beams at the rim. His words, not mine. Like, that's something that he talked about over the offseason about how he felt like down the stretch of the year. And it's crazy, man, because in the Grizzlies series, he was shooting so well. Like, he was putting arc on the ball. Like, his shot looked money. Like, it looked pure. And we had all this time off, and it had the opposite effect. Like, it felt like he was shooting on tired legs. Like, he's talking about the rust and the rust affecting shooting, and that kind of being the only thing. And our numbers don't look crazy. Like, we shot like 35% from 3, which isn't great, but I think we even shot better than the Nuggets did. But specific players like Chet and Isaiah Joe specifically, like, guys like that going over from the 3-point line really hurt. And, also Chet missed that dunk in transition. He had a couple rebounds that were just taken from him. Yeah, man, and Chet had some really good moments, specifically on the defensive end. He had 4 blocks. He had a steal. He had a couple really good finishes inside. It was just, especially down the stretch, like the bad started to outweigh the good. The missed block, having 2 rebounds stolen from him, and the 2 missed free throws are what stand out down the stretch for Chet. And it's really unfortunate, man, because he was so good in that Memphis series, and he's not the only one that was really good in the Memphis series and didn't bring it in this game. And it's Jalen Williams, man. He ended up having okay with counting stats: 16.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, but shot 5 of 20, 2 of 9 from 3, and 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Like, we needed him. We needed him in a bad way, because Shea started out hot, scorching hot, second and third quarter.
They took him away late.
Kind of teetered off in the second and third quarter. Made some huge shots in the fourth quarter. But they're in that second and third quarter, we really needed Dub to, kind of carry the load a little bit. And he was not doing that.
Yeah. There was a lot of Dub had some moments where he started to get a little more aggressive, but overall, he just wasn't because like you said, Shea was carrying this team early, because we were ice cold from the outside, and he was 100% carrying it. And then when he came off, it was like, okay, Dub and Chet have to be the ones to step up. We know this. Whenever there's non-Shea minutes, those are the guys, and they just never put it together for a consistent amount of time. Kind of thinking more generally too, one thing I noticed that was a big difference between sort of the energy between this series so far in Memphis is that the effort and just the hustle isn't always there. There's moments where it's there. And like, shout out Caruso, by the way, like he's always 100% effort. It's
Yeah.
not him I'm really talking about. But there's just these little mental lapses that happened pretty much the entire game, whether it was just not boxing somebody out and getting an extra rebound for the Nuggets that ended up being more points. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we were like plus 15. The Nuggets were plus 15 in rebounds this game. And I know we're not the best rebounding team, but a lot of those were just like you could have gotten that rebound.
They're plus 20, bro.
Yeah, it was something crazy. So like, and again, we're gonna get out rebounded. Jokic is getting like 20 plus rebounds a game, but there were just a lot of mental errors like that. And then there was the defensive intensity wasn't always there. I mean, there were spurts of it, but it was just they weren't in the passing lanes as much. And again, Caruso was great, but a lot of other guys were sort of just not really getting their hands up as much. We gave up rebounds and missed free throws. Yeah, that one, I think it was Dub who forgot to box out Aaron Gordon, and then he just got it. That was very frustrating because he just stood there. But it was plays like that, and I know the foul trouble was another part of this. The calls were frustrating. I get that. I mean, I don't think that necessarily, won the Nuggets this game, but having both your big guys in foul trouble there, and having to play a little less aggressively was a big factor as well. There's just, I mean, I could list a few more, but I mean, it was that what I tweeted out from our Twitter account was it felt like it was a death by 1,000 cuts. It was just all these little things. And then of course the fudged, 30 seconds that ended the game. That's kind of what it all came down to. So, you can point at a lot of different things. There are probably a lot of them fair, but at the end of the day, there were some good parts of today. Again, Caruso, shout out. Lou Dort started catching fire a little bit late. I have a good feeling that this is not going to be the same team in game 2. I think they get their mentality a little bit in check. I think you're going to see a lot more fire out of them if I'm, thinking about how historically this team has done after a loss. So I'm not worried overall as the series, but yeah, just a lot of things that were very, very depressing watching this game.
Here's a telling stat for you to talk about the rebounds in this game. Do you know who our leading rebounder was without looking at it?
I would guess Caruso. No, Shea
Shea
had a lot
rebounds. He had 10 rebounds.
He was on triple double watch. I remember that.
Isaiah Hartenstein had 9. Chet had 6. Dub had 7. It's like you just got to do better, man. Like I and a lot of it was Jokic was missing at the rim. Like he made a lot around the rim, but he missed a lot around the rim, and he would just grab it immediately right back up. And also like missed shots from his teammates. He was just right there. We did a really bad job of boxing Jokic out and keeping him away from the rim to get those rebounds and get those easy buckets. But I think that's a huge adjustment, to make, from game 1 to game 2. But yeah, man, like kind of, I mean, it sucks. Like it absolutely sucks to lose game 1 at home, your first loss of the playoffs, and to lose in that fashion late whenever you really should have had it locked up.
Yeah.
But it's the end of the series.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of other, shooting performances tonight that I will probably attribute more to just rust. Like Isaiah Joe just never really was a factor in this game. Lou Dort was better in the second half, but first half was just completely not able to hit anything. There was another one in here that I saw. We got J-Dub was 2 of 9. We already talked about Chet, but yeah, the shooting, and if you look on the other side of things, how poorly Denver shot as well, worse than us. I don't know. It's especially when you look at the fact that like how good of a shooting night Caruso had, like 5 threes. How often are you going to get that from him? The fact that also has kind of gone to a waste, as well as Shea's performance is pretty frustrating.
Yeah,
Pretty frustrating.
It is annoying. Yeah, shout out to Caruso though, man. I mean, there were stretches in that game that he was the sole reason that we were in it, that we had a lead. 20 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, 7 stocks, 5 steals, 2 blocks. At one point, he had 7 stocks in 14 minutes of play. He was an absolute game wrecker. Him and Kaysen were both getting at it in their minutes. Cookies and cream, man. Cookies and cream wrecker machine. I don't know if T's in the chat or not. He might be too sad, but they were great, and we need them to continue that as we go on through the series. But I did see somebody said it. Yeah, it was. Well, gosh, I keep clicking the wrong thing. It was V right here. Said it's only one game. It's still upsetting. Like, yes, it's absolutely upsetting. Yes, this absolutely sucks, but it is only one game in this series.
It's still upsetting.
They got to win 3 more. They got to win 3 more to send us home. And I expect a better effort from the team. I expect a better performance from Mark Daignault there at the end.
We came into this series, all of us sort of thinking like Thunder 5, Thunder and 6. I think game 2 is like not only a win, but you have to win that definitively. Because if you don't, if it's another nail biter, I think now it's like, okay, this could go like 6 or 7 games, especially because you now don't have home court and you've got to win one in Denver at some point. So definitely a shift in at least my perspective of how the series is going to go. I still think we can pull off a 6-game series, maybe even 5 if we have some good shooting performances in Denver, but it's definitely looks like this is going to be a much longer series than some of us may have expected.
Yeah, we just gotta step up. I will say that, we was talking about the rest advantage going into game 1, and obviously, like, you didn't see a lot of that today. It didn't, as you were saying, it didn't feel like we were flying around up and down the court like we were in the Memphis Grizzlies series or anything like that. So I think there is some to be said of rust. I think game 2 will be much more in rhythm. And hey, it's only one day between game 1 and game 2. Like, the Nuggets still just played a physical game 7 series. They just had to take it all the way down to the wire, fight all the way back to try to win in a late game. Like, there's a chance that rest advantage comes into play in game 2, like we thought it was going to come into game 1. But I digress. That's just something I wanted to kind of point out. I do want to highlight Shea though, man, because again, he was the reason late, like why we should have won the game. Like, he had 33 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Shot about 46% from the field. 2 of 6 from 3, but the 2 that he hit were just absolutely huge. Shot 7 and 9 from the free throw line. But, we talked about how he started off hot. He had 16 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, he came in, couldn't really get anything going. Third quarter, kind of the same thing. He scored a little bit, but in the fourth quarter, he scored 13 points, including like just a huge step back 3. I think one of them was an and-1 for what would have been a 4-point play. He missed the free throw, so that was disheartening. But had a couple really good shots in the mid range. Was getting to the rim. Looked like Shea, man. Like he looked every bit the part of the most valuable player, and probably would have been heralded as that had we won the game, especially after that huge play, that dunk there at the end, to just come off that circle cut. Credit to Caruso for putting it right in his pocket to drive to the rim and nobody there for the dunk. Shea was phenomenal. Like, and whenever he didn't have it going in those middle quarters, that's when he really was playmaking. That's when he got those 8 assists. And stepping up on the glass whenever our guys didn't have it tonight. He was just out there doing everything, man. Like, Shea, you could tell Shea was on a mission. I feel like it's kind of funny. The Grizzlies series flipped on its head for this Nuggets, or at least for game 1 of the Nuggets, because everybody was talking about how Shea was struggling in the Grizzlies series, and he stepped up. He was ready. Like, he was Shea. He was the MVP Shea that we've seen all season. Everybody talked about how Dub and Chet had stepped up in a huge way with Shea kind of, going through a little bit of a slump. And now it's Dub and Chet in the slump. And if we can get those guys all playing at a high level at the same time, we are a very scary team. But hey, we just gotta, like I said, we just gotta get back in rhythm. Shea even said, it's a cliche quote, but he basically said it's not about, falling down. It's not about getting knocked down. It's about how you get back up. And we got to do that in the next game. So
yeah,
as we said, I expect this team to pull it together. I expect a much better effort. I expect them to go out and fight. And I expect us to win game 2. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah. With Shea, I did put a 50 plus points, rebounds, assists. I did hit. So shout out that, I guess. I would have rather them won the game, but that was kind of cool. I do want to also shout out Dub. I remember this when you mentioned him. I think it was before all the quick fouling, but there was a play that felt like it was one of those moments where the game was over, where the Nuggets got like 2 or 3 attempts, and the very last one, I think it was Aaron Gordon. Dub had an amazing block on that without fouling, and then Caruso, got the loose ball and were able to burn like 30 seconds in the next drive. That was a big play. I felt like in the moment that was going to be one of those plays we look at now and be like, wow, can you believe that he did that in that moment? But it turns out it was it's going to get forgotten, but still a good defensive play in the moment. He was a dog there. Also, quick aside as well. This guy Yuri in the chat, he accidentally joined the creator link that we accidentally tweeted out from our. I tweeted out. I deleted it, but he was in there, and I honestly thought he was like trolling us. And it turns out he just wanted to watch the pod, so we were like telling him to go to our YouTube. So now we have a new subscriber because we just did this. So thanks for joining. Shout out Yuri. Appreciate it.
I will say something that they definitely need to figure out for game 2. A coverage that they started running on Shea there late in the game is I think they were running 2-3 zone, obviously. Or no, they weren't running 2-3 zone. They was running like a box and 1. But instead of having the 1 on Shea, they had the 1 on whoever was going to be the screener to free up Shea. So you had the box. So like Caruso, Westbrook and Christian Brown were at the top of the box, and Jamal Murray was the guy that followed Isaiah Hartenstein out to the 3-point line. And so whenever Hartenstein set a pick on one of the guys, whether it was Brown or Westbrook up top, Murray was out there to switch to, continue the double on Shea. And specifically, you're talking about that play on defense where, Dub got the block. It's funny because literally, like the play before that, I tweeted out, what the F was that, Dub? Because that happened, with the Nuggets running that box and 1 defense, with Murray coming up with the screener, forced Shea to pass it out to the corner to Dub. Dub attacked the closeout and kind of drove in, and I don't know, he kind of just short-circuited. I think he got blocked by Aaron Gordon. And that's why I was like, what the heck, Dub? And then, of course, he comes down the other end and makes the big play on defense. And I have nothing to say about Dub on defense. Dub's defense was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
As was much of the team in terms of, like, creating turnovers. Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't know. Like, it really sucks because Chet had done such a good job in his career of guarding Jokic. And Isaiah Hartenstein is the big body that theoretically should be able to guard Jokic, but I don't know, man. Heart lost a little bit on defense.
Yeah, maybe. I think they had a stat up towards the end. I think it was like Dort, iHeart, and Chet were the 3 his main on-ball defenders, and I think iHeart had him at like 1 out of 6. But I think some of those 2 were just like some threes that he took. So it wasn't really like his posting up inside. And then with Chet, he was like 6 of 9. But yeah, iHeart had a pretty weird game too while we're on this topic. Also on the offensive end, there was a series where it was a backdoor cut, and I think it was Dub who was cutting. And normally iHeart's really good at seeing that, and if it's open, he'll make it. But Peyton Watson was all over Dub. Like, there was no chance that backdoor cut entry pass was going to work, and he still tried it, and it ended up being a turnover. And the very next play, it was sort of like a broken up play, but ultimately what happened was Westbrook was left guarding iHeart, and he got the ball like at the rim. All he has to do is just like go up over Westbrook and put it up, and he just kind of freezes. And then he's just like, oh, let me find Caruso. And Caruso got fouled, but he ended up missing one of the free throws. So it was just like, those two plays back to back were like very odd for him, especially because you don't see him lost on offense a lot at all. And you're right. I think defensively he had some moments too where he wasn't like positionally, wasn't in the right spot. But offensively too, you're usually like, he's the guy that sees the court really well. He's sort of everything runs through him. And it just was like, it didn't feel like he was in that same level of control. So just another thing to tack on of like, hey, this was not what it should have been today. And one of the reasons why it ended up being the score it was. But definitely a word like a little bit of a better performance on both sides from iHeart. Again, the fouls too probably played a factor on the defensive end. He had 5 fouls for a while. But
there was at one point, I think Jokic, Chet, and iHeart all ended the game with 5 fouls. They all had fouls.
I also think that the Thunder kind of tried to target Jokic when he got 5 fouls a little too much. Like, I felt like they weren't actually playing their offense. They were just like, let's just whoever Jokic is on, let's just get it to them and try to get them to draw a foul. And they did that for like 5 or so possessions and it didn't work. And they're just like, okay, never mind. And so it was just one of those moments on the offensive side. I was like, okay, what are we doing? Like, this wasn't just run your offense, play play for the open shot.
Yeah, I just want to point this out because they said this on the broadcast, the Westbrook Revenge Tour. To think that Westbrook would want revenge in OKC is just absolutely crazy. Like we love this guy. Like when he checked in, he got a standing ovation. When he was shooting free throws, even during the game, like late in the game, it wasn't like hear a pin drop quiet, but it was much quieter than if any other Nuggets player was at the line. Like
he airballed a 3 too, and there was no airball yelling.
No,
that's how much we love him.
There's zero bad blood between Russell Westbrook and Oklahoma City. There's about to be, though, if he has another third quarter like he did tonight. Because he's a huge reason. Like, Jokic's numbers, whatever. Like, the third quarter, Russell Westbrook in 5 minutes of action had 10 points on 4 or 5 shooting, 1 of 2 at the 3-point line. It was a huge swing. Like, we went up, I think we went into halftime with like a 10-point lead. And we came out of the third quarter, and we were only up 5 points going into the fourth quarter. And a huge part of that is because Russell Westbrook and his energy that he brings. And that was something that we said like all through the offseason that, the Russell Westbrook acquisition, he's gonna be able to provide energy for the rest of the team to feed off of, and that was one of like the huge underrated aspects of him. And in the arena that he's done it so many times, he did it once again. So yeah,
there was also that play before Gordon hit the 3 where Russ had a chance to win it with his own 3, and I was just sitting there like, oh my god, if this is how this game ends. And we still lost anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But at that point, I was like, if we're going to lose to a Russ 3 here, that's going to hurt. Still hurt. But
I can't remember if he's the one that got the rebound there at the end, but he definitely, he had the game-winning assist. So
he did, yeah. The next play, he did have that assist to win it. But
so it was. Russ played good. Christian Brown, 13 rebounds, stepping it up in a huge way off the bench as a guard. Jamal Murray Didn't shoot
Off
great,
night for sure.
like efficiently, but had some really big buckets. Was kind of carrying them offensively early on in the game, and
Yeah.
he had one play. I think we had Caruso on him, and I was like, "Yeah, Caruso, that's such good defense." And Murray did one move.
That
I was like,
crossover.
"Oh shoot, he
Yeah.
kind of lost him." And then of course
That
he made it.
crossover got some major space.
Yeah, and then of course Aaron Gordon. I mean, obviously made the biggest shot of the game, but was just a beast in general. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 7 of 15 shooting, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Like, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was their second best player tonight, like easily, bar none. And so OKC is definitely going to have to adjust, to try to figure out a way to just contain the glass, because
it's a major problem.
That's one of the ways that we've won so many games this year, is just having extra possessions. We shot 5 more shots than Denver did tonight, and they rebounded 20 more times than us. So, like, if we can cut those the rebound differential down a little bit, then we'll, probably get the shot differential back up a little bit.
It's not even the rebounds too. It's the fact that when they rebound, they basically just rely on Jokic to get the rebounds and then just do an outlet pass. And so they get the ball out so fast to the other side of the court that they basically eliminate our half court defense. And so you're taking away such a big part of our game. And that's, aside from just getting rebounds, it's not letting them get a rebound and just immediately gun it, because they burned us a couple times, at least early on. And, 1 or 2 times more in the second half, where it was just like Jamal Murray or Christian Brown was like already down the court, and there was like one other guy with him to contest, and nobody could get set up. Those things that they do are just gonna take less opportunities away from our elite defense to stop them in a half court.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if I'm giving MVP of this game, it would go to Shea, but the unsung hero is Alex Caruso. Yeah. The rest of the guys got to step up, man. Shout out to Dort, starting out 0 of 5 from 3 and making his next 4.
Kept shooting.
I don't think he shot another shot after
no, he was
that.
4
No,
of
he
1.
didn't. Yeah, after he made that 4th 3, he didn't shoot another 3. So that's crazy, man.
Caruso was my guy tonight. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. It was really just Shea and Caruso in this game. Dort had a crazy steal on Jokic, in which they were running up the court, and like right before Jokic was about to cross half court line, he tried to throw it above Dort's head, and Dort just went straight up and grabbed it out of the air like a defensive back. It was great. Caruso, we talked about, some of the plays that he was making. He had a couple plays where he anticipated Jokic's no-look pass as the help defender and was able to steal the ball. And of course, he's just a menace, man. He's like, we call him the bald-headed demon for a reason, because his energy, his effort, his shooting tonight was phenomenal. 5 of 9 from the 3-point line, and like it felt like he had a bucket every time we needed a bucket. So yeah, I loved the effort and the energy out of Alex Caruso, but when he's your second best player in a game in the playoffs, things probably didn't go good for you.
Yeah, I agree. There's another quote that came out from Mark about 10 minutes ago. It just says, the fouling up 3, that's on me. That's not on the players.
We know.
Yeah, I agree. That's not, I don't know if there's more to that quote, but that's all there is in the video. I was looking for any others that I saw.
Just letting you know, we didn't need that cleared up for us, Mark.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you made it. Shea post game said, should be good, should be fun. We're going to find out what we're really made of. It's the game of life. It's about how you respond to getting knocked down.
Yep. And if there's a leader that I want to have for this scenario, this situation, this Shea, because like he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, man. Like he takes it in stride. Like he's like, okay, we lost. What are we gonna do about it? And he's gonna make sure his team is prepared. He's gonna make sure he's prepared. He's gonna, set that mentality going into game 2. And I expect the Thunder win. I saw somebody on my Twitter said that it is imperative, and I would agree. It's imperative at this point to win 2 of the next 3 at least.
I think the next 2 for sure.
Next two would be great, but as long as you win 2 of the next 3 to make it 2-2 going back to OKC, and then at that point, you're in position to win it in 6, or you're in position to try to win it in 7. Who knows, man? Who knows? I still think that the Thunder can win it in 5. Jerry is calling me right now.
Oh, Jerry. He's halfway down a bottle of Jack Daniels. I don't know what on earth he could possibly.
Should I put him on speaker?
Maybe.
All right. Hey, we're live on the pod. You want to talk?
You can't hear me, so.
Yeah, that's why I called.
Okay.
All right. So, I want all Thunder fans out there to not be fucking retarded and say that fouling Aaron Gordon with 12 and a half seconds left was the reason why we lost the game. Don't be fucking stupid. Just don't be. Okay. You know what lost us the game? Getting out-rebounded by fucking 20.
Yeah.
That's what lost us the game.
Part of it.
By giving up 18 fucking second chance points. That's what lost us the game. So, if you believe that we lost the game because we fouled Aaron Gordon, who's a shitty free throw shooter, with 12 and a half seconds left, you're stupid. And you need to go watch ball more. And you need to understand that basketball is 48 minutes, not 12 and a half seconds.
That's true. Facts. That is
Point
a fact.
blank period.
Point blank period. I just want to say, Jerry, you can't hear Tierney. He was saying that's true. Facts and stuff.
It's facts, Jerry.
I think that there's truth in both statements. I mean, obviously, if you win the what?
Was it boneheaded? No, it was definitely boneheaded for Mark to be like, hey, foul him right now. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that point.
Yeah.
Not going to argue it. But don't put yourself in that position by getting by 20 and giving up 18 second chance points off of offensive rebound. Don't do that. Be better. And out of those 18, I think 10 to 12 were from the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, that's what Nathan Morath pointed out in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, freaking ridiculous. Don't do that. Be better. Rebounding. It's pretty simple. Basketball is one in 3 categories, guys. Defense, which we didn't do bad at. We weren't terrible at it. Rebounding and free throws. Those are the 3 things that win NBA basketball games. Go argue a wall if you think anything different. Because that's what wins basketball games. Because you're splitting hairs because everybody's good at the NBA. Everybody is.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, Jokic got a lot of BS calls tonight.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, at least 4, which is like every star should get 1, maybe a game. 1, if that. And we got no calls tonight.
Yeah.
I think J-Dub got fouled on every drive he put up tonight.
He got fouled a lot.
No calls. I don't think he shot a free. Did he shoot a free throw tonight? I don't think he did.
Yeah, he was 4 of 6.
No, it was the first half. You're right. He was 0 for 2. Right? Am I right? Or is he 1 for 4?
Dub was 4 of 6 from free throw line.
Yeah, 4.
Okay, 4 or 6. But he missed his first 2. That's what I'm remembering right now.
Yeah, that did.
So, yeah, don't miss your free throws and rebound better. It's that pretty simple. Especially at the free throw line. Like, there's no reason why a team should get an offensive rebound on a free throw. No reason.
That was crazy. That made me so mad.
That's what lost you the game. Not the foul on Aaron Gordon, who's an average, actually probably below average free throw shooter. That was the right call to make. And everybody wants to throw Mark under the bus. Like, I literally just got an argument with the guy. I almost fought him in front of his mom. Like, I'm not even being, like, I'm being dead serious right now. Because he was like, that's what lost this game. I'm like, no, dumb fuck. The other 47 and a half minutes is what lost us the game. Because I can count multiple possessions throughout the whole game where we played like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Like straight dog shit. That's not our brand of ball. It's not. And if we expect to win this series, losing the rebounding battle by 20 is absolutely ridiculous. The only thing that was our saving grace while we even had the lead most of that game was the turnover differential. That's it. The turnover differential was the one reason why we were like good. I think we had 5 turnovers. They had 18. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
9 turnovers to
I think I'm right.
9 to 18, yeah.
18. Yeah.
9. Sorry. Don't shoot the messenger.
It's
here.
okay. It's all right.
Hey Jerry, I know you're fired up, man, but holding up a phone to the mic doesn't make for a great podcast.
Love you, Jerry.
I'm
Love you, Jerry.
I'm like that rapper from prison that puts out a freestyle, all right?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. But hey, I'm gonna jump off here.
Now,
Tell Jerry I love him.
If you think that one call was the reason why we lost the game, you need to fucking watch basketball more.
Hey,
And look at home game. Thank you.
Tierney said he loves you.
Love you, Jerry.
I love you too, Jeremy.
All right, we'll see you, man.
Bye, Jerry.
Gotta love Jerry.
We love Jerry.
For the record, Aaron Gordon shooting 81% from the line this season, but Jerry's
All right.
upset.
He made a lot of good points otherwise.
I mean, I agree. I mean, obviously, that is a huge reason that we lost the game, like a game that was won. But as we said, like, if you don't put yourself in position to get there, if you do A, B, C, or D. So it's all good. I think, the Jerry phone call is a good way to end the pod, unless you have anything else to say, Tierney.
No, someone in the chat said this is the best part of the podcast. Let's keep him on. Maybe we should do more Jerry prison
People
phone
love
calls.
Jerry. No, hey,
prison phone calls from Jerry.
What I don't understand is if he could call me, why he wouldn't just.
He could have just been on the. He could have just been on the pod, but it's all right.
Like, come on, man.
Jerry's the man.
Yeah, no, we love
I
Jerry.
think that's how we end it, though.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm predicting a Thunder victory, game 2.
Yeah, I'm saying cover the spread for sure. I think we're gonna be fired up.
There you go. Hey, get back at it. 0-0 mentality, man.
0-0.
This game never happened. We gotta go win game 1 on Wednesday. So make it happen. And we will be back on Wednesday, as we are every game.
Another late
for the rest
one.
of the playoffs. Hey, I appreciate everybody tapping in. We got Nuggets fans, we got Celtics fans, we got Thunder fans in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. Guys, I just want to say we do not just let people call into the podcast. Jerry is a member of our podcast. That's why we let him call in. But hey, I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like the video. That would help us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live, as we will after every game for the remainder of the Thunder's playoff. And until then, I hope everybody has a great night.